Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Today I'm going to talk about index cards, Rolodex cards, memory dex cards, anything like that that you're decorating. It can be for mixed media cards. I've seen a lot of people who are still doing index cards exchanges for mixed media projects, and also in the Julie Nutting world. So people who love Julie Nutting paper doll stamps, they're decorating index cards and exchanging them. So I just wanted to show some quick ideas about storing them, displaying them, and creating them. So let's get started and have some fun. So for a lot of you who follow me for Julie Nutting tips and tricks and ideas, this is going to be something that I think you're really going to enjoy. And it's going to be another kind of a series with several videos that will incorporate the idea and then show you how to do it. So to start with, let's talk about doing decorated index cards. And I know you guys are already, some of you are already doing decorated index cards with Julie Nutting dolls, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. So index cards come in two sizes. There are 3x5 cards and 4x6 cards. So this is 3x5, and these are 4x6. So you can do either one, and it depends on the size of your display box. And I'm going to talk about display boxes at the end of this video. So a couple years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, there was a big fad for doing index cards. So memory decks, Rolodex like this, decorating and doing a mixed media little artwork piece. And in fact, I've got videos on Rolodex cards too. I'll link that in the description box if you want to see those videos on some of the ones that I've done. So index cards were a really big fad for a while, and then it kind of died out, and now I think it's back. So it's kind of fun to take a little index card and decorate it with mixed media style, any theme, and then people do exchanges. They sell their created cards. They put them in a Rolodex file. So that's a really fun thing. And I wanted to talk about the index cards like this. 4 ways of making it into this style that can go into a display, either Rolodex or a display box. So here are the different ways that you can do that. The first one, you could create a card from a die. So there are tons and tons of these dies on the market. They were called memory decks for a while. There's a spinning memory decks display that you could put them into. And so they started to create this really fun dies that cut out a neat shape that you can decorate. So instead of it just being a regular Rolodex card, it's a little bit bigger and taller and has some style to it. And these are still available. I know you can still find these. I've seen them on eBay, Etsy, and some are on Amazon, and so you can collect these dies. And if you have a die cut machine, then you can put down your medium or whatever substrate you're going to use. Like you could do it on watercolor paper and cut it out and then watercolor paint the card. You could do it on a nice heavy cardstock or a regular cardstock, or do 2 in cardstock and back them together to make it a little more stiff. So these are fun to use. That's the first way to create a card that you can decorate. And so if you have these dies and you're doing the Julie Nutting girls, these are so cute to decorate, make a beautiful background, and then place a Julie Nutting girl. Now, of course, you're going to have to cut her off 3/4 of the way, but it still turns out really, really cute. So the first way would be using a die. The second way would be to punch one. Now, this is from Heidi Swap. These are still available. I'll put a link in the description box below. You can find them until they're gone. They sometimes tend to be a little bit hard to find, but if you do find one, snatch it up, because these are so awesome and it makes it so easy. So if you have an index card, you can just line this up in the middle of the index card. You can eyeball it, or it has little lines here to line it up so that you know that it's centered, and then you just punch it and it makes the little spaces where you can put this onto your display. So these punches are great. The other nice thing about it is you can decorate your card and get it all done first and then punch the holes out and display it, or you can punch the card first and then decorate it and display it. Either way, but this makes it nice because you can use anything as your back substrate. So you could use a piece of cardstock or a piece of watercolor paper or Bristol board or anything you wanted to create your back display card out of, and then just punch the little tabs to put it on your in your display box. So the second way of creating a card to put in a display is the Heidi Swap punch. Third way is to take an index card. If you want to use a bigger card like a 3x5 index card or a 4x6 index card, you can find center by measuring this. This is obviously 4x6, so you find 3 inches will be center and line up one of these Rolodex cards and then just use a pencil to create those slots and then cut it out. So that's another way, is just use this as a template and even mark it template and keep it in your stashes. This is a template that I use for creating those notches if you don't have a punch or if you don't have a metal die to create a card. So once you draw those on, you can simply cut those out with an X-Acto knife or with scissors, cut into it and then cut around it and cut those out. Any way that you want to cut them out is easy. And I'm going to show you another way of doing it as well. So this would be the third way, is using a template from an old Rolodex card. The fourth way is using a hand punch. Now, this one is too fine. This is the microfine. You want to get a regular size hole punch. And these work fine. I'm just not a big fan of them, especially if you decorate your card first. It's super hard to punch with this. I use this one. This is a nice, cute little single punch. And I'll put a link in the description box for this. I like this the best. You can take the backing off. This is the space that holds the little circles that get punched, that you can empty it. But I take that off so I can see the hole, and it makes it easier to see what you're doing. So if you've used an index card as your template and you've drawn on those little things, and maybe you hate cutting them, trying to fussy cut them out, I do. It's kind of a pain, but you know, you can do it. It's not a big deal. But if you have a regular hole punch, try this. So you can put your hole punch into the shape. Now I like this because you can see where you're punching, so I see how I can line that up. And you want to go to the top line and you want to try to center that as best as you can in between the two lines to get it as straight as possible. And you're going to punch that first hole like that. And then your next hole, you go down just a little ways to the bottom, kind of a halfway with a little moon shape, and you punch that out. Now all you have to do is take your pair of scissors, and you can cut that hole, you can cut both sides of this to cut that out like this. And now you've got your easy punch spot. But what I like to do, personally, this is my favorite way of doing it, is to punch it out. Do your 2 punches like that. And then I just make a slit right in the center of those 2 spots, and it holds it nicely on your display. So these can tend to get a little bit loose sometimes, not necessarily, but I'm just saying, try it both ways, see which works best for you, but just a simple slit works great and holds it onto your display really well. So that's 4 ways of creating your little notches for putting it into a display. And the 5th way is just with plain scissors, and I'm going to show you a trick for that. So use your favorite fussy cutting scissors, and the easiest way to cut this out, instead of trying to cut it and make your turns like this and try to make your turns in your edges. Now this works, this is fine, but it's a little awkward. It's somewhat awkward trying to cut it out like this, and sometimes they come out a little bit wonky, just a little, but this is an easier trick. If you go right down the middle and right to the top and make a slit like that, then go over here and do the same thing, and then to this spot and do the same thing, it makes it so much easier to cut out. Now all you have to do is come back in and go across, and it cuts out. See how they just fall away? All you have to cut out is the little notch space here. And you come out with a pretty nice notch. So that would be my 5th way, is how to do it with fussy cutting scissors. And here's what I mean by a display. So this is a wooden display box. It was a file drawer out of an old desk, and this is my display box. So here are my Rolodex cards that I've created, and I've shown videos on how I've done them. They're in a bunch of different videos that I've created. And so it's fun to be able to flip through these cards and look at the cards. It's so fun. I love displaying them this way. I like this much better than the actual spin kind of a Rolodex or the other lift up Rolodex boxes, because this is just more, it's more attractive. It looks pretty on a table. It's a conversation piece, and they don't tip back and forth like with the plastic Rolodex boxes. You don't have to spin them and have them be too tall, and they hit and they bog up, or they flip over because they're too heavy, and so it's empty at the top and the spin Rolodex is like off balance. I hate that. So I like having a display box like this to display my beautiful cards that I've created. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this one step further. I'm going to show you something so fun. It's such a great idea, and I hope that you love it too. So I have a video from a couple years ago where I created these index cards using Julie Nutting paper dolls. I'll link that video in the description box so you can go watch it if you haven't seen it yet. And they were made on from the metal dies to make the fancy cards, but they also could be made on Rolodex cards. So Julie Nutting dolls fit perfectly on a Rolodex card with a cute background. This is a good base, and this is an inexpensive way to get started and create these cute cards. So I'll put a link in the description box where you can get a pack of these Rolodex cards ready to go, and then you can just use that as your base to decorate, and then use your Julie Nutting dolls as focal points. And here, as you can see, I have them staggered, which looks really cute. They're staggered. I can change them around. Of course, this one's a little bit high, so it does need to be in the back, but I could change them around this way or this way. And they just look so cute because you can see all the girls in the layer, but I can stand them up in my display box. And so I'm going to do a whole display box of nothing but Julie Nutting decorated dolls. So how fun is this? This is going to be a fun little project. So if you want to make them small and use a Rolodex card as your base, then you have that, and you can do that. The other thing to do, of course, like I've said, is to use a 3x5 card. You can use a 4x6 card if that's what you've already been working with. You could do that. It's going to take a little bit bigger of a display, and that's okay too. So this is my preference. I love the 3x5. It's a little bit bigger than a Rolodex card, so it gives you more space for decorating. And these are inexpensive as well. I'll have those in the description box, a link for those as well, where you can get some 3x5 cards and use this as your substrate base, and then decorate it with a background, and then add your Julie Nutting dolls to it. So you will have to add your little spaces here to go on your display posts, but that's not a big deal, and I've shown you 4 ways of doing that. I also have these beautiful display boxes available in the shop. There's a link in the description box. So if you want a display box for your cards, check that out, and there will be more added. And they're one of a kind, so when they sell, a new one will be added to the shop to replace it, and they're all different kinds. But it's a beautiful box for displaying your Julie Nutting cards. So go check that out. And I also, I have I'll link a video where I show the display boxes, and then I also have some display cards that are digital. So there are digitals that you purchase it, you download it, you print it onto whatever you want. So heavy duty cardstock, and then you cut the cards out and you have these cute decorative cards for adding to your Julie Nutting girls. There's the French collection that has the Eiffel Tower and a French patisserie bakery and a French flower shop background. So these are the background cards that all you have to do is cut them out, and the notches are there to be cut out as well. And then you decorate your girl and add it, and you can add embellishments and things. So it gives you some really fun cards as bases. If you want something different, you can check those out. And there's a church that can be a church or a house, and then there's a house, and then there's a tree and all kinds of plants and things. So those are cute. They're in the shop. There's a link for those as well if you're interested to get some fun background cards. And I'll be adding more styles of cards too to the shop. But the other ways that I've shown on how to decorate your own card and how to make the notches is valuable information for being able to cut out those notches for a display and be able to display your beautiful cards. So if you're doing swaps and you've already got these beautiful cards and you don't know what to do with them, now you have ways of cutting those notches and adding them to a beautiful display box so you can look at them instead of just tucking them away. So I hope you found this useful and that you get out those Julie Nutting dolls and create some beautiful paper dolls and display them, because it is just so much fun. It's very addictive. Once you get hooked on the Julie Nutting dolls, you just can't stop making them. They're so much fun. And I will be showing some videos on making Julie Nutting cards from plain cards, adding different backgrounds. So some watercolor painted backgrounds, some mixed media backgrounds, a lot of fun things. So I've got videos coming up on that. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, share, comment. All that helps me in the algorithm be seen better on YouTube. And subscribe and hit that little notification bell so when I put a new video on, you can be notified that there's a new video. But there's a lot of new videos coming out, and there's going to be Julie Nutting card videos. There's also going to be some regular mixed media card videos. So if you're not into Julie Nutting girls, don't shy away from my channel. I'm still going to be doing my art journaling pages, my face-ups, my handmade journals, and mixed media projects, because I like to get my hands into all kinds of projects. So stay tuned. Let's have some fun together, and let's go make art, because art soothes the heart.